Over the past few days, I've been checking lists on the Dark Souls games, what ranks where. And it seems the general consensus is Dark Souls 3 is the best, Dark Souls 2 is the worst, but Dark Souls 1 kind of gets a middling treatment. A lot of people think it's shit, and a lot of people think it's good. I'm one of the people that think it's good, but I can acknowledge the flaws. So let's start off with some flaws. I've heard a lot about poor balancing. Like if you choose the knight class or warrior class or anything like that, those heavier set classes, you gotta take off the armor just to roll. And that does suck, Medium rolling is a lot better than fat rolling, obviously, but it's still not that good. And another problem is the HP. You pretty much get two hit no matter what your health is at, which I completely get. That is definitely something that sucks. You can have 99 HP and you could still die by a hollow in the Undead Berg. The only fucking difference is that you have a giant ass health bar on your screen. And Dark Souls 3 doesn't have that issue, not really. So I completely get why somebody, if they go from 3 to 1, they'd be completely upset. I'm not even going to defend it because it's completely right. And there's a lot about the backstab mechanic. Like, they get backstabbed just by turning around near an enemy. And I completely get that's happened to me so many times. I get it completely. And then they talk about completely good areas, jam-packed with enemies, like the Undead Parish that's full of that Chancellor and the shit ton of hollows that will absolutely molest you. Like, and then all the bad areas in the game, like the sewers, the New Londo Ruins, the Catacombs, Tomb of the Giants, all those areas that are considered the worst of the worst. Yeah, I completely get that too. Blighttown obviously sucks the most. Yeah, all the bad areas in the game. Like, they kind of were just throwing anything at it and hoping it stuck, and what stuck wasn't there. It's definitely a mess of a game, but it's a beautiful mess, I think. At least the beginning half is. The worst part about Dark Souls 1 that I'm sure anybody that played agreed on is that the later half of the game feels like it was rushed. They just threw a bunch of assets down and fucked off somewhere else. Like Lost Izalith, the Lake of Asses all the way at the bottom, where there's just a bunch of dragon tails and whatnot walking around. Literally just threw a bunch of assets down there and walked away from it. And Tomb of the Giants feels the same. They just threw down a bunch of skeletons, turned it pitch black, and that was the difficulty right there. Nothing else. New Londo Ruins, they just threw down a bunch of ghosts with a few castle assets and made it so you need a curse just to kill them. It's pretty annoying. Stuff like that gets people pretty annoyed, and I completely understand it. I'm not here to defend any of that. I absolutely hate all that shit about the game too. I don't think it's the worst. Maybe it is. I don't know. I love all the games very much equally. I played through all of them multiple times. But those are pretty much the main reasons why everybody hates them. Of course, there's a bunch of other ones, such as your character staying down too long after you get knocked down. People find that shit very annoying. I do too. I completely understand. I'm having trouble not laughing as I'm thinking about all the problems it has. One thing I've seen quite a bit is people mentioning how the weapons feel weaker later on. And they definitely do, but you level that up along with your strength and whatnot. You can, at strength level 40 with plus 15 large club, you can go through New Game plus 5 with ease. Well, relative ease. You'll definitely have some trouble. But it's not that the weapons feel weaker. It's just you probably didn't allocate your stats well enough. And even if that's not the problem, maybe you just didn't choose the right weapon. Or maybe they really are super weak. I don't really know. But I've seen a lot of people say a few minor good things about it. Such as the interconnected world design, something that Dark Souls 2 sorely lacks, but something Dark Souls 3 thrives in. Along with the beauty of some areas, such as Arnolando. They call a lot of areas ugly as hell, but Arnolando is the saving grace of it all, I guess. And I completely agree. Arnolando takes the cake. Beautiful area. But all that means nothing if the combat is completely shit. A lot of people complain about the turn-based combat. Like, if an enemy has a shield, they just kind of camp behind it, and you either need a big Oonga Boonga stick or the show tail to get around it. And I do agree that that's quite annoying, but the combat is still fun, you know? It's not, like, completely super fucked up. You know, like Dark Souls 2 combat is basically running and baiting enemies because you're getting chased by a dozen of them. Dark Souls 1 is not that bad in comparison. I don't know, maybe I'm just biased. I think the combat is pretty fun. It is a lot of dodging and healing, but that's all Souls games. All Souls games are based on dodging, blocking, and healing, and then getting a hit in when you can. I don't know. That's how I've always seen it. That's how I've always played. But maybe some people think differently. Maybe they think they should be able to one hit every boss or something. I'm not really sure. All I know is that there are a lot of bad things about this game, and I think the bad definitely probably outweighs the good, honestly. But Dark Souls series in general just brings out a sense of exploration because everything means something. There's items in areas you wouldn't expect there to be any in, so there's a want to explore just to find everything, and that's the same for all of them. So that's not exactly a highlight of one. So I did want to mention that as a selling point of why the game is good. But there's definitely a lot of bad that damn near outweighs the good. But I think if you play the game and you play it through, as long as you're not focused on the bad of the game, you'll have fun playing it. And that's pretty much about it. Until next time, see ya.
Subscribe to Sleepy Soul.